Hey there, soulful family. Did you all know that January 2026, the United States of America no longer utilizes the WHO, World Health Organization? And also, is the Hantavirus COVID, or is COVID the Hantavirus? This is what we will be discussing on today. My name is Michelle King, and this is Soulful Nutrition and Wellness, Mind, Body, Spirit, where evolution is essential for growth. Now, I do have an article that I am going to read from, guys, and it is the information is from the WHO. So the WHO says Hantavirus is not coronavirus, cause cruise ship outbreak low risk. This article is written by nurse.org staff, and it was published on May 7th, 2026. So I had to ask myself, what kind of nurse would I be if I do not discuss the Hantavirus? Because of course, we've already been through COVID, and again, this does state that this is not, the coronavirus. So, but yes, we are probably in a state of PTSD, post, traumatic stress disorder, after dealing with what went on with COVID-19 for all of that time, those years. But the article, I'm just going to read a little bit to you here, states that a Dutch expedition cruise ship is stranded in the Atlantic. And just so you know, it is not stranded now. They've, it's docked, and those that were on the ship that needed to get to their various places, that has taken place, okay? 3 passengers, it says, passed away. 8 cases of hantavirus have been confirmed or suspected across multiple countries. And the strain on board is the one that, in rare circumstances, it can spread from person to person. And so what I was reading in this article, that when it is spread from person to person, that means that, you have been in close proximity of an individual that would be carrying, has now become the host of hantavirus, meaning they carry it. So this cruise started back in April 1, 2026. So they have been together for quite some time, stopping off in various locations to enjoy whatever those islands, had to offer. So petting animals, more than likely sitting birds on your shoulder and stuff. Cause see, I've never done anything like that. And I would probably be quite apprehensive, but there's many people that enjoy what traveling has to offer, cruise ships have to offer. And I'm just one that has yet to do something like that. So what is happening on the MV Hantavirus, which is the, ship, and, if I'm pronouncing that wrong, my bad. The MV Hantavirus first left Ushuaia over a month ago, making stops in Antarctica, returning for a night and departing again on April 1st. Passengers visited, I just talked about this, some of the world's most remote islands where they encountered wildlife, including whales, dolphins, penguins, and seabirds. Now, in the article, that it mentions rodents, that it's the droppings from rodents. So like mice, rats and things of that nature. So the animals that was mentioned just now wasn't rats, rodents, mice, but apparently there must be a means to those animals coming in close contact with the droppings of these rodents, right? According to the WHO, guys, passengers who fell ill developed symptoms between April 6th and 28th. So that's a long time. That's about 3 weeks there, April 6th through the 28th, including fever, gastrointestinal symptoms, so GI symptoms, rapid progression to pneumonia, acute respiratory distress syndrome, and shock. The first passenger passed away on April 11th. His body was removed from the vessel on April 24th in St. Helena. On May 2nd, a German woman passed away on board. And then on May 3rd, the ship docked in the capital of Cape Verde. So the bottom line here is the article makes mention that, okay, one, this is not COVID, and two, this is pretty contained as far as the hantavirus spreading. The Andes strain, why this outbreak is different, because you got two different type of strains, one that more so affects the respiratory, and then the other that affects your kidneys. Most hantavirus outbreaks are straightforward in one critical way. While hantaviruses are normally carried by rodents, the Andes strain has been spread by human-to-human transmission in extremely rare cases, it says, especially among people in close proximity, which we just talked about. That makes the MV Handia situation unusual. Here we go, guys, unusual. And it is why infection control nurses are paying close attention. Let me just say this. It is not just infectious disease nurses that are paying attention. You got the attention of the whole world, I would suggest, because again, we have been through something that we had never seen before in our time, whereas, you know, a virus spreads all across the world. And when it comes to viruses, you all, there's no cure for viruses, you know. There was the jab that you were recommended to take 4 or 2 or 3 or 4 that you were recommended to take when it came to COVID-19. But otherwise, you know, a flu vaccine, you know, annually, perhaps on your job. But when it comes to viruses, it's just that. It's a virus, and it can't be treated with, you know, antibiotics. It would need to be something that's bacterial in nature. So viruses, you need a healthy system. You need a good, healthy system to be able to combat things like viruses, you all. And we'll talk further about that in just a moment. Let's see here. So it makes mention of what nurses need to know clinically. Hantavirus causes 2 distinct syndromes depending on the strain and region, which I was just talking about as well. And so for patients that are coming in, say for instance they have traveled, but now they are showing up in the emergency department because they have myalgia, which is muscle aching, and, you know, just fatigue, and now are, you know, coming in with a fever greater than 101. Well, the first thing you want to do is make sure you are asking, and I'm sure the jobs will be a part of the protocol, is to ask, and we saw that with COVID, you know, have you been outside of the state, outside of your country in the last, you know, couple weeks. So that would be one of the biggest things that we would be taking note of in any emergency department or in you know, your local doctor's offices. But respiratory issues, difficulty breathing, which can become fatal, it says, pretty quickly once these signs and symptoms kick in and this virus begins to take over your body, then it progresses pretty quickly. So I believe some of the things that we should be doing year round, all the time, not just during times where we have become fearful because now there is information coming across social media and our televisions that, you know, there's this virus out, but we should begin to take care of ourselves on the daily. We should begin, first thing when you get up in the morning, your mindset should be, what can I do for myself today? And of course, I suggest all things mind, body, spirit. Mind, body, spirit. So for the mind, are you processing what it is that you need to take in and what you don't need to take in? When we allow ourselves to just consume nothing but negative conversations, negative energy, negative people, then that has an effect on your being. Okay? Things are energetic. We're constantly in motion. Cells are constantly in motion. Inside a little bitty cell, there's work going on at all times so that we can sustain life, so that our organs can sustain life. So do you want to live in a way that is conducive to proper wellness, or do you want to just barely make it? But the mind, the way that we think about things, the way that we consume, the way that we execute, we need to make sure that our minds are working in a way that is conducive to our having good health. Body, what do you do for the body? If the Hantavirus comes to your town, to your job, to your home, because, someone in the home travels for work, and now, it has come to your doorstep, what are you doing before this diagnosis? Are we exercising? Are we watching what we are taking into our bodies? And given none of us are going to be perfect, that is not what this here discussion is about. But if you're taking care of your body, then you are not just consuming whatever you want at all times. There would be some sort of quote unquote balance so that you can maintain the proper homeostasis that your body needs to exist. So for the body, you might do some walking. You might drink some herbal teas. You might incorporate more fruits and vegetables in your diet and take out the sugary drinks. These are the things that we should be doing before we become ill with the Hantavirus, any virus, any situations that you may be dealing with when it comes to a dis-ease in the body. Mind, body, spirit. What are we doing for ourselves spiritually? Do you read your word? Do you attend service? Do you listen to service on YouTube or, on the television? Spiritually, do you take a walk and breathe the air outside? And I know sometimes that's a little iffy too, but no, seriously, you all, we're blessed because the trees provide us with oxygen. So as long as you got trees, go outside, take a walk, breathe in, breathe out, and then you even being able to do that, it enhances your cardiovascular system. So now your blood is pumping the way that it should, and you are feeling amazing spiritually because you've gone outside for a walk. You've looked at the beautiful plants that people are placing in, their yards, not just for themselves, but for the neighbors or any passerbys. So at the end of the day, guys, we're going to have to take care of ourselves no matter what. We are up against a lot of stressful situations right now. And, at the end of the day, it has kind of always been that way. There are always things that we, are facing and attempting to overcome. So all I can suggest is be prayerful, be mindful. Tell folks to give you 6 feet. If you feel as if you want to utilize your mask again, do that. Don't just allow people to just be all in your personal space. Monitor your home, who you're allowing in and out of your home, because at the end of the day, you don't know who's carrying the Hantavirus. Why? Because this virus, it comes from rodents. There are rodents in alleyways. There are rodents that get in our homes. And so, just check out your surroundings, check out your home. If you own a home, make sure you're plugging up any holes or means to any of these rodents getting in. I think that will complete the discussion on the Hantavirus. Again, it is not COVID. It is not super likely that this will transmit all across America and outside of America if we just contain it, and which is what they're doing right now. They are containing these poor people that have contracted this virus, and, just continue prayers to them and healing to them. And one more thing, We got to stop just taking life for granted, just taking the moment for granted. Just because it's over there don't mean it can't come over here. We got to start thinking about others and their safety and their health and their well-being, not just ourselves. All right, you all, I guess that will end it. Peace out. Stay well. Maintain your blessings. Peace. Have you been questioning the current status of your relationship? Does it seem as if everything is your fault and you can do nothing right? Are you binge watching YouTube videos seeking out an answer on narcissism? Well, you don't have to look any further because I have what you need. I have written a book entitled Creepy, The Unveiling of a Narcissist, along with a journal that you could use for cathartic writing as you are reading and getting set free. The book is not dedicated to the narcissist, but the very things that you are going through as you endure this painful relationship. The book is available on Amazon and in my store, soulful-store.com, soulful-store.com, so that you can begin to heal. God bless.